Hello. In the video that you're just about to watch, which I just filmed, I appear to have a very uneven mustache, just like I do now. I promise. In real life, this looks a little fuller than it does on camera. I don't know why my camera is doing this. It's doing it even now, and I can see myself now, and I notice that it's crooked, and I know that it's crooked. But let's agree that it is an art piece, and that's why it's crooked, and not because I didn't check how I looked in the camera before I did it. I know, please don't make jokes, and enjoy the rest of the video. Hello, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're talking about The Great Hunt, which is the second Wheel of Time book. I have made a reaction video, I guess you could say, to the first Wheel of Time book, The Eye of the World. That's on my channel. It's actually the first video on my channel. It lasted 58 minutes, so I'm gonna keep this intro short. We're just gonna go into it. The things you need to know: this will be spoiler talk of the book. I just finished the book a couple of days ago. I'm a little unprepared. I do get names wrong a lot, so if you hear me mispronouncing something, no, that's why. And yeah, let's get into it. So overall, I did like this book, but not as much as the first one. I found the first one to be better in many parts of it, more contained, I guess, whereas this really feels like, a sequel. It really feels like, and not even a sequel, it feels like a middle book, even though I know there's like 14 more, or 13 now. But it does feel a little less self-contained, a little less complete, and I do have some issues with certain characters and certain, I could just say, chapters. My first issue is kind of that there are a lot of parts that just didn't need to be there. Maybe not a lot, maybe that's too much. And this didn't really bother me for the majority of the book, or really at all. In the first book, they kind of go on this journey, and it's a very specific journey, and even though I had some trouble with certain things that they found out and went to, and how information was given to both them and us as readers, overall I found it really entertaining and really, contained, I guess. And I don't want to say simple, but the goal was simple. Whereas in this book, I think there are more points of view. I might be wrong on that, but um, I guess there are more important points of view, and I just don't feel like all of them were needed. I think there are a couple of chapters and a couple of characters that just could have sat this one out. But we'll go through all of the characters at one point. But that was something I could forgive. There wasn't too much of these situations where I felt like, oh, this didn't happen. Actually, while reading, I didn't feel like anything was. Also, I didn't read, I listened, so that's one more thing I need to say. But while listening, I at no point felt like any chapter was like, okay, this isn't important, just get on. That's a lie. There's one character that I did not need. But while listening to it, I didn't feel that. It was more like when I finished the book, I realized that I just did not need certain things. But that comes to my second issue, which is the big one. And that is that I did not like the ending of this book. And not in the sense of what happened in the plot, but in the sense of how it was written, how it was shown to us. It felt rushed. It felt like the writer gave up and was like, let's finish this book, which is strange because it doesn't, you don't write how many? I think he wrote like 11 or 12 more after this. I don't feel like he was in a rush, but the ending just kind of happened for me. And a lot of stuff was told to us. A lot of stuff was, kind of magically resolved, and it was unclear. And I really do feel like Robert Jordan, right? Yeah, that's his name. I really feel like he doesn't stick the landing on the endings. Like in The Eye of the World, my biggest confusion was what was the Eye of the World and what happened to the Eye of the World. That was unclear for me. And in this book, that big battle, a lot of stuff was unclear for me, and a lot of stuff was confusing. Like I wasn't sure what happened, and but I liked so much of it before, and I will get to that part. But there was even parts where I was like, oh, the second book is better than the first book, but then just the ending kind of just plopped down, and it was just there, and that was it. And I really didn't feel like the ending of the first book, like the ending, like the final line is like, when Moiraine says the dragon is reborn, and it's like, wow, bam, you think he's a false dragon, or he's just a man that can do magic, and that has its repercussions, but then she says he is the dragon reborn. That it was really powerful. And in this book, Moiraine just shows up, she dumps a lot of information, like what she did and what happened and what the state of the world is now, and it ends. I mean, there's another chapter where there's like some story by an unknown author or whatever, which I honestly kind of didn't get at all, and that might be my fault. Maybe I should go and listen to the last chapter again. But honestly, the ending was so of the previous, and I remember, because I saw there was like a minute left. I knew the last chapter was very short. I was already kind of disappointed in the ending, that maybe I haven't given that, whatever that story is, a good shot. But from my current reaction, it is just something random that doesn't matter. And I'm sure I'm probably wrong in that, but yeah, I really didn't like the ending. And I'm scared to say that it's becoming to be a pattern. The Eye of the World did not have a perfect ending, though the Eye of the World had amazing scenes in the end, whereas I feel like this didn't. Loial singing to the Green Man's, is that his name? The Green Man's grave, or like the tree, so that he can kind of maintain it and keep it from being corrupted, or like the scene with Moiraine in the end, the very end. Those are powerful scenes. I didn't feel like this had those powerful scenes, for me at least. But yeah, let's go through the characters and just, and when I say characters, I mean characters and things that I just want to highlight here. I have my notes down here, if you're wondering why I keep looking down. Okay, so I guess the first characters I want to talk about is the guys. They're, searching for the Horn of Valere and also the dagger from Shadar Logoth. What's it called? Shadar Logoth. Yeah, but so let's talk about that party, or I guess that part of the book first. Is there really a child yelling? Oh my god. Yeah, so the main character, Rand, I do feel like we got a lot of the same Rand that was at the end of the book. Him just accepting that he is the dragon, reborn, and, still talking about how, oh, it's his father, and all these things, and the evil, like, Balsamon is still in his head, and they're having discussions and whatever. And it was fine, it was cool. I didn't feel like it was a lot of new things. I guess his relationship with Egwene, or lack thereof, romantic relationship with Egwene, is kind of the development of his character, and that's about it. I didn't feel like, even though he has the most, I guess, POV time, I feel like not a lot was resolved with him. But I didn't mind it. I think, this entire story is very, even though it is long, It is a very troubling time, especially for him. And you know, I kind of like that he was very, I don't want to say one note, but very obsessed with his problem. And you know, and overall, I didn't mind his character in this one. I liked him more in the first book. And I have a feeling I will like him less and less, but we'll see. I don't know. He served the plot. He was, you know, the main character, kind of blandish, a little bit bland, but you know, overall pretty good. I did kind of get tired of him constantly saying how he doesn't trust Aes Sedai and how he doesn't like them and wants to get away and this and that. It was a little repetitive. I just kind of wished he had something more going on in his head because we spend a lot of time in his head. But you know, he needs to get away from Aes Sedai. He's gonna hurt everyone because he's gonna go crazy, and he likes pretty girls. That's kind of everything he does in this book. There's also, I guess, you know, with Mat, the whole idea of getting the dagger. He is obsessed with that as well. You know, his friends accepting him, but not really accepting the fact that he's, you know, the Dragon Reborn and that he's gonna go mad and all these things. You know, I feel like there was a little bit of that there, but not a lot. Now, let's move on. Perrin. I like Perrin, but Perrin was really downplayed in this book. He had much more to do in the first one. And I still like him. I do think the little which was given to him was good, you know, him talking to the wolves, pretending he's a sniffer. I think that's the term. When they lost their guy that was tracking, but he was actually using the wolves to track, and all that. So I liked him, but he wasn't given a lot, so you know. Now, Mat. I still hated Mat. And if you saw my first video, I really disliked Mat. Probably of all of them, the most I disliked Mat. Here, it's the same. It's still the same. He just says annoying stuff and he doesn't do anything. I guess he cut that one guy's arm off and then that guy disintegrated because he used a dagger. I did actually like that the dagger has an ability or something more than just like it's the ring from Lord of the Rings. There's still, I guess I should also mention, there is a lot of Lord of the Rings still here. I know over time in the books it'll fade away, it'll become more and more its own thing, but I did recognize a lot of Lord of the Rings in this, which isn't a bad thing, but you know, it was noticeable. But yeah, Mat was still annoying. He got the dagger. Hopefully they'll take the dagger away from him finally, and he'll become a better character. He didn't do much besides that. Honestly, Perrin had more to do, even though I believe Mat said more. I believe Mat has more dialogue. I could be wrong, but he literally says nothing. And everything he says, it's just negative. To the point of me wondering how Mat is friends with these people at all, because it is set up in the way that they are friends at the start in the first book. But, you know, and I guess you could say it's the dagger making him like this, but I'm not sure it is, because they kind of nullified a lot of the effects of the dagger. The dagger is now just killing him. Like, he was an asshole in the first book before Moiraine kind of healed him as much as she could. But yeah, here, you know, he was just annoying, and so and not he was needed, I guess, but I don't know. I've been told and I've read on the internet that his character gets much better, and you know, I hope that separating him from the dagger or cleansing the dagger or whatever they'll do, my hope is that will also happen to his character. Who's next? Let's talk about the girls. I like the girls in this one much more than the first one. I've heard like and read articles about, you know, the females in Wheel of Time not being good or being written well, but I feel like this, and I saw shades of that in the first book, but in the second book, like, it's really great. Egwene is probably the worst one, to be honest. She kind of, she has that separation with Rand, and that kind of defines her a lot. But also, she is the one that's chained in by the, I'm gonna get their name wrong, Shan-Chan. I believe it's Shan-Chan. She is kind of the way we learn about what they do to Aes Sedai and what they do to these women, and just the horrors and how they literally treat them as objects. Not even, it's not even enough to say as slaves, but really as objects. And her point of view served to give us insight into that, and just to show it how horrible these women were treated. And I really liked the part where, two parts. One is when her, like, I guess master or whatever walks into the room and she attacks her. She basically almost kills her. And the second time where you feel that she is traumatized. You feel when she just starts screaming and casting, I think, lightning or something all over the place, and really alerting everyone, because she does not want to be chained again or colored again. And I found that really interesting. And even though a lot of her character outside of that is just being jealous of any other girl that likes Rand, and to the point where it is talked about openly, but it's whatever. But overall, she did a good job. I mean, she did a good job. I say it like, she was written well. She served the plot well. She wasn't annoying. Not even, I didn't find her that annoying in the first book, but she wasn't. I wouldn't say she was at all annoying in the second book. Now, actually, let's talk about Elaine first, and Min. So Elaine, she was fine, but I feel like she wasn't needed here. I wouldn't cut her out. Like, there are some things that I will talk about that I just didn't understand or need. She was just kind of like a princess that was there. And I guess another female to talk about Rand, I guess, which it's kind of on the verge of just being like, okay, like, it's the male gaze of just a bunch of women. They all talk about this one guy who is the main character. But, I'm hoping Elaine will give us, more of a storyline in other books. It definitely happened for the females of this, in that got introduced in the Eye of the World, even though she was introduced in the Eye of the World as well. But I'm hoping to see more of her. She didn't do a lot. She wasn't annoying, but she didn't do a lot, I guess. Min was cool. Min, she's a cool character, a cool concept. She sees, people's future and people's past, and she sees things in people. I like that she was in the White Tower. They wanted to study her. They wanted to figure out why she can do the things she can do. I liked, I'm conflicted because I don't like the ending, but her being in bed with Rand to keep him warm, it is the most Twilight thing I think I've ever heard.
Relax. You'll warm up soon. Faster if you took your clothes off.
And also, so the entire scene doesn't make sense, because I guess, isn't there like a war going on? And like, they're in a house, and then he's shaking because I guess he's cold, but he was just stabbed through by a fire spear, so shouldn't he be hot? It didn't make sense. I think the entire scene was to get her in bed with Rand, and then for Egwene to find them, and it just didn't make sense besides that. And I'm here for the drama, but I'm also kind of like, I wish it wasn't the main character that they were fighting over. But I did like when she looked at Rand, how she couldn't see anything, because she doesn't see anything when people are sleeping. And also I like when she said that there will be a third. That there's Egwene, her, and there will be a third. And the question is, who is the third? And there were hints that it would be Elaine, but it probably wouldn't, because she hasn't. I think she says that that woman hasn't been met yet. She doesn't know who that woman is. So we'll see. But yeah, overall, I liked Min. I think she did her part in this. I also liked, I guess, overall, before I talk about Nynaeve, who is the best one in this, maybe even my favorite character of this book, but I really liked, the moment they got caught, I was like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. Because two of them got caught, the other two didn't. The two are gonna try and save them. They won't succeed, they'll get caught too, and then Rand will save them. The moment the first two got caught, I was like, okay, this is happening. And I'm so glad that it was the other way around. They kind of saved Rand. Even though I don't like how they saved Rand, I don't like the entire scene or just section of scenes that they don't make sense to me, but I like that it wasn't just the basic of guy saves a bunch of girls and they all want to fuck him, besides Nynaeve. I really like that. But let's talk about Nynaeve. Nynaeve finally shows how powerful she is. In the first book, we basically don't see her do any magic whatsoever. We see Egwene do magic, little things, but nothing too spectacular. Nynaeve, we see that she's a powerhouse in this. I loved, so there's apparently I've been hearing it wrong. It's the Amyrlin seat. I called it the Amelin without the R, but I guess there's an R there. Maybe the R is silent. Whatever. It's I'm gonna call it the Amelin seat. When the Amelin seat was like testing them, the two of them, and Nynaeve got really mad, and she basically grasped her, the Amelin seat, which is like their leader, which is like the closest thing they have to like a goddess, I would say, in the real world, right? Like they call her mother. Even the ones older than her call her mother. And it's like, and Nynaeve just grabs her with magic, but then obviously the Amelin seat grabs her as well. And I think she does like funny things to her, and Nynaeve hates her for it. And even though Nynaeve was really annoying in the first book, she was kind of one note. Not one note, but she didn't repeat herself a lot. I don't feel like I feel like this book gave her a lot more to do, and this book gave her much more character. I also love the scene where she takes her tests. I remember when I finished that chapter and just realizing all her tests, and the first and also the inversion of those tests, right? The first one is like Balsamon, which is like the big bad, the Sauron of it all, and she has to deal with him, and that's the easiest test. And then the second hardest test is, or the second test, and the second hardest as well, I guess, is her dealing with the fact that she left her village, the fact that her village is wisdomless, and also the new wisdom could be anyone, and could be someone dealing harm to her people and her village. She's just, that's really the fact that bothers her more than the father of lies, the big bad of their entire universe. It really makes sense for Nynaeve, and it was just beautiful. And then the last one, the hardest one, was Lan and her emotions towards Lan and the life they could have, and she has to block that out. And it was really beautiful and was really cute and was really powerful. It wasn't cute. It wasn't just cute. It was really romantic, but in a very sad way. And I loved it. I remember once I finished that chapter, I wrote to my friend who is a big Wheel of Time fan, and he actually listens along with me, but he's like way ahead of me now. He's like on book 7. And he was like, and I was like, this book is better than the first one. Because of that chapter, I was like, this book is better than the first one. And then the ending screwed it all up. But, you know, I really loved Nynaeve in this book. I hope we get more of her. I like the sass. I kind of wished she wasn't that angry at Moraine. Because she's like, I have to make Moraine pay. And I was like, pay for what? Helping you? Info dumping? I mean, I should make Moraine pay for that, but, you know, we'll talk about Moraine. But yeah, Nynaeve, amazing. I loved her in this. I hope she continues to be this and not go back to what she was in the first book. Not that it's a lot different, but just more nuanced and more and less repetitive and just a powerhouse. I love just an angry woman setting things, you know, ablaze. I really like this. Who's next? Yeah, we talked about the Amelin Seed. I liked her. I liked how I heard that in the show they made her lesbian, and the first thing she talks about in this book where she is introduced is how she sometimes wishes she had a husband instead of all these troubles, and I just found that funny. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it isn't true, but I don't know. I found that really funny. But okay, the Amelin Seat. She was really cool. I liked the way Rosamund Pike. I'm also listening to Rosamund Pike. You know, not the original 2 people. Although I do know they're iconic for their roles in Wheel of Time. But I am listening to Rosamund Pike just because I don't know. That's how I started the first book. And I feel like Rosamund Pike really is good at giving her voice to the Amelin Seat. Really to all of the characters, but the Amelin Seat really stood out to me. Even though we don't get a lot from her, like personally, I do understand the character. I think she was really well written. And you know, I got what I needed from her. It was a little funny. It was a little drama. It was a little intrigue, a little politics. Overall, she didn't do much. She was there kind of to help Moraine info dump. But you know, I liked her. She served her role. I am scared that she's going to be killed. I feel like, you know, whenever you have a character that's that powerful, that's not on the side of evil, but also, I mean, on the side of evil as well, but just a good character that has that much power. And when you have that many books, I'm like, okay, at some point she's gonna die, and we're probably gonna see like an election or whatever for the next person to hold the seat. So you know, we are waiting for that. I will be sad if that happens because I do like her. I think she is kind of funny, and she's also really powerful, and I like that. Padan Fain, I liked him. I liked what he did here. I liked how he treated the Dark Friends. You know, they were gonna be food. He, you know, threatened them, but also he was their leader. You know, you see him kind of from the just not even dog. You can't even call him a dog in the first book because he just runs to find them, continuously runs. He's just not a being at that point, just like a machine in the first one almost, with how much he's just obsessed with that one thing. And now you see kind of him ascending these ranks and becoming more powerful because of the dagger, because of this, because of, you know, him serving the Dark One and whatever. I like that role. I like seeing that kind of, you know, in the first one he was just, you know, a dark friend, you know, kind of like Gollum, a little bit kind of like Gollum, just though a bit different, but you know, he just had a single mission, that's it, and he was kind of crazy, and he, you know, whereas here, even though he's still very much crazy, you see him become more menacing, become more problematic, more scary even, I guess I would say. And I like that. I liked when is it the Myrddraal? I believe he killed the Myrddraal, which is like shocking because, you know, no one can kill them, or almost no one. And, you know, that was really cool. Um, when he gave the box to the Shan-chan, it made no sense to me. I didn't understand what he was trying to do. Or in that point, I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be drama. This is gonna be like something cool." But no, he just gave it to them. It was like, "Oh, you should blow it," and the man said no, and I'm gonna give it to my queen or princess or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And Thane kind of he's almost took the dagger away from the man. He tried to like be a snark, I guess is the word for it. I don't know, but I don't know. I guess it's not a problem with the ending, right? I just don't understand what he was trying to do. Get him to blow the horn, but also where was he? He didn't show up at any point, and he said it was strange. I didn't like. He was cool up until the ending, and then the ending just did not make sense. Ingtar. Ingtar was really cool. He seemed just like a random guy. Not really just a random guy, but a random general. He had a mission, and he needed to do the mission, and he just kept reminding everyone that he needs the horn, he needs the horn, he needs to bring the horn back. And then, the reveal of him being a dark friend was really good. And really, it gave his character, like, if this was his depth before, it just increased his depth a whole lot, and you realize that. And I love that. And I didn't notice it. I didn't realize it, and it made complete sense. He feels bad. And also Rand, him understanding, and not, and also giving him what he wanted. He wanted, a noble sacrifice for himself, so that he can pay back a little bit of the, of the dues he has because he was serving, the Dark Lord. It was, it felt a little rushed. It felt a little like why are they even there in that hall? It's not a hall, but it's like a small alley. But the plot wise, it was really cool and it made so much sense why he was so obsessed with bringing the horn back. I liked him as a character. I liked his choice. I liked the ending of his life. I'm guessing it's his life. I'm guessing he's not coming back, but we'll see. But I just I didn't this is how I'm gonna say it. I liked that he sacrificed himself. I don't like how they were put in the situation where he needs to sacrifice himself. Or not, I don't like. I don't get it. I don't get it. He just, they were just there, right? No, they were running out. And I guess he decided to stop and fight them, I guess. I don't know. I don't get the ending. The ending is just so confusing. But yeah, let's move on. Overall, I liked him. I really liked the twist. I didn't expect it at all, and it makes complete sense. Loial. Loial in the setting. I really liked Loial. I liked Loial in the first book. I loved him in the second. When the inn is burning down, and Rand needs to go in to find the horn, and Loial wants. He tells Loial to stay behind. Loial says, "I can't leave my books to burn." I just love that. I think Loial is amazing. I love that really in a very different way because they live for hundreds of years or whatever, thousands, I don't know. He ran away so his mother wouldn't marry him, wouldn't have him married. I found that very funny to think. And he's like how old is Loial? Loial. He's 90 years old. And he's running away because he's too young to be married. And I love it. And I just found the entire setting to be really cute and really, the leader of the setting, she knows, am I saying that right? Setting? I believe they call it the setting, the places where they live. And you know, even the leader, she knows everything. She's aware of everything. I think it's a female, the leader of that setting. And she's like, go, you know. I just liked it. Love Loyal. I hope it will be so easy to kill him and to make it sad, because I think he's the most likable out of all of them. I think he's the most likable, him and Perrin, but Loyal the most probably. And I just hope he makes it out of these 15 fucking books. Who next? The Shan-chan. The Shan-chan were really cool. They have a hard name to pronounce for me. Shan-chan. But yeah, the overall imagery of just a woman pulling another woman by the chain and them using it to, you know, control the Aes Sedai, or as they call it, what do they call it? Damane. So Damane, and the color's name is Odam. I really liked that the woman that created the Odam at some point had it used on her, and she was chained, or they say colored, and it's just really, and the fact when they left that woman, that the Egwene's like slave master, when they left her on with the color, but and the like end is right there, but if she picks it up, she like can't walk. It's like extremely painful for her. I found that to be really cruel, but really deservingly cruel. And it was really powerful. And just you know, the scene of just a bunch of women pulling women by a collar, and you know, having them. There's like a description of like 5 of them, or like 10, I guess. You know, because there's 2. 10 of them just standing in front of an Aes Sedai, and not even like nothing happens. The Aes Sedai just starts screaming because she has like 5 others that she needs to fight, and she just can't win against them, and they just defeat her without anything happening. And then she gets, you know, the collar put onto her. I think it's really good imagery. I loved how Rosamund Pike made them sound. She made them sound, I want to say American. I want to say like really like cleanly American. And it just, you know, you definitely felt like it's a difference in the way she made them sound, the way she made them speak. I was confused about that one girl, the girl they used to get in, that when they wanted to get Egwene, the other 3 girls, they beat I forget the names, but the woman holding the chain and the Odam, is it the Odam? The Damane. So they beat a woman holding the Damane, and they used the girl, the Damane, to get Egwene. I'm confused about what happened to the girl, because she was like, "Don't leave me here," and I don't feel like they did, but I feel like when they got separated when Egwene went crazy, I feel like we just didn't talk about her, and I'm like, where is she? Did they leave her? Was she taken back? Was she now at the White Tower? I'm confused. But yeah, another problem with the ending. Maybe it just wasn't a good day for me, and I just didn't get all of that. But maybe also it just isn't described at all. Yeah, who's next? Bail Domon, the ship captain. Yeah, he was cool, but it is a little strange that the same ship captain from the first book came to save them, and also did he save them? He went away, right? he couldn't wait anymore, and okay, this is one of the points of view that we did not need. Like him talking about we're gonna wait for them, and then they just don't. And maybe again, maybe everything was just happened so quickly that I didn't get the moment where they decided to leave. There was just a scene where some guy tried to leave, and he like hit him, and he's like, "No, we're waiting." and he just said, "Come on, girls," or something like that, or "Come on, girl, whatever you are," something like that. And next scene is Min staring at the ship being smaller and smaller because it's going away. I don't know. I feel like we didn't need to see as much of him. I don't feel like it should have been him. It was just too small of a role. Like with Min, why is Min there? Like it makes sense. She's weird. The White Tower was sent for her. It makes sense why she's here. Of all the ship captains, it really happened to be the same one from the first book. I don't know. It was a little too much for me. And it was just kind of not needed, I guess. But, it was fine. It's not like he eats much of the, book away. He isn't given a lot of time, but, I just didn't get why he needed to be there at all. It could have just said, hey, we have a ship ready. They're waiting for us. We need to leave quickly. And done. But okay, it was fine. Verin. Verin was is she the green? I want to check if she's the green. Verin. Green. Sedai. No, she's of the brown. Right. So Verin is brown, actually, not green. Yeah, and that makes sense. Because a characteristic of hers that I really liked was, how she's devoted to knowledge and she's like intrigued by things. And, I remember her being described as, everyone's talking about something and she's like writing something in the sand and then kicking it off and writing it again. And like, she's like thinking about something and trying to figure something out. So yeah, I found that really, fun and good. But overall, sad to say that she was kind of just Moraine 2.0. She was there just to give out information, and that's it. She did a little healing, a little some, answering questions, just giving out information. Yeah, she was kind of just an info dump at some points. Not as bad as Moraine was in the first book, but she did her thing. But did I need her? No. It was fun to see like all the other Aes Sedai though. I will say I like that the Browns are like nerds and that the Reds are kind of hardcore anti-men and stuff. Hurin. Am I pronouncing that right? Hurin, Wheel of Time. I think it's Hurin. The sniffer, right? I liked him. He was very nervous, he has a cool power. Kind of strange in the way that it works. Like he also kind of just has information sometimes that doesn't make sense to me because he's supposed to like smell violence, as I understood it, but he was just kind of able to know things that didn't completely make sense to me. Like, how does he know where someone goes if they're not committing violence continuous? But if you accept that part, he was cool. Just a nervous guy, but he was very loyal. I like that. And I kind of, because a lot of dangerous stuff happened to them, and he talked about the fact that he has a wife and kids. I kind of feel like, and he's not, as I understand it, like a soldier. He's more of just, he is a sniffer and that's it. It was a little strange to me. But I did find it really funny that he kept calling Rand Lord, even when Rand told him not to. To the point where Rand was just like, okay, I'm a lord, fine. Just leave me alone. They also, I guess, we can talk about that here. The, like, game, or whatever it's called, the thing, I also didn't get that, where the families are, like, calling each other for dinner, and then there's intrigue happening, and her knows about all of that. It also was really confusing for me. I was like, what's the point? And also, why could they just not ignore all of that? And I guess they started a war in that place because I guess Rand didn't go to dinner with everyone. That it was a little weird and not completely clear for me, but her and did that, so whatever. Celine, I from the moment I met her, I was like, okay, you're evil, and she is. I don't think it gets revealed, which is a little strange because if this was any other medium of storytelling, we would realize that the woman that shows up, that's like the Forsaken Queen or whatever they're called, the Forsaken, or like a Forsaken, I guess. We would know that that's Celine immediately, but here it's not said that she's Celine, but I guess you kind of have to just connect the dots. And someone, my friend that's a big fan, he did confirm that it is Celine. Yeah, she was cool, she had that like devilish moment of, oh, I'll make you great, we will be great together, I will get out the best in you, you need to stand up for yourself, you need to be more selfish, and all of that, all of those things. I do think that it's funny how they didn't ask enough questions about how she got there and how she wasn't that scared when that frog thing attacked her. They just accepted her in a very funny way. I guess because she's beautiful, I don't know, but yeah. She was fine. She didn't do a lot. She was kind of repetitive. But whatever. It was the first time Rand saw a girl more beautiful than Gwen, which, work. Oh god, Moraine. I am really tired of Moraine, and people might hate me for it, but Moraine really didn't do anything in this book. In the beginning, she talks about how she and the Amelin Seat, they saw that one woman die, and she had a vision before that, and that's how they know about Rand being or not Rand being the Dragon Reborn, but his destiny and all of that, and that's why they are helping him instead of killing him or whatever. But what I don't like is that she just keeps giving out information. Besides, like, okay, that part, it makes sense, even though it is still kind of just info dumping, where it's just she heard it from someone else, but it's whatever. She has that random scene with Lan where they're talking about what'll happen when Moraine dies, that he will be given to someone else, and then something randomly attacks her, and Lan kills it. And I'm like, this scene probably didn't have to happen at all. It is very obviously setting up Moraine's death. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Moraine lives through everything, and she's fine. But it's just like, okay, who will Lan belong to once Moraine dies or is taken out of action? Did we need this did we need that in this book? No, but it was fine. It didn't take too much time. It's not like she spent a lot of time throughout the book. Where she did spend some time is not in the book, but at the end, where she just shows up and she just info dumps everything that happened much more clearly than anything else. And it's the utmost destruction of show don't tell. Moraine is the just goddess of telling and not showing. And I really didn't like that. She just sits down, Rand wakes up, and she tells him everything that happened. She tells him that the fight that we saw, that it could have been explained in that way, was actually happening on the sky. And she says that everyone saw that everyone knows that he's now the Dragon Reborn. She tells him that she was fighting the Shan-Chan, but two sisters of hers were stolen. And could we not have seen all of that? Did Rand really need to fall asleep and then Moraine tell us all of that? Like, I don't know. I just really didn't like that. It was everything. Moraine was an info dump queen in the first one, but she also did things, and she was served the plot in different ways. Here, she just didn't do anything through the entirety of the book, and then she showed up at the end to info dump the unclear ending and all the things that happened in the end that weren't clear and weren't, set up properly. Maybe not set up properly, but just executed properly. Yeah, I really didn't like Moiraine in this. Not in the sense of her character. Her character is kind of blandish. It's kind of one note. She's just kind of calm and that's it and whatever. And she's the blue Aja. Aja, yes. She's the blue Aja and she has those beliefs and that's fine. And, and she just sits down and starts info dumping and that's it. Yeah, I really didn't like Moiraine in this book. My hope is that she will do more in the third book and continuous books as much as she's alive. Lan was cool in the beginning. He didn't do anything besides that. I actually liked, I guess, even though I said that scene wasn't needed, I liked them bickering. I liked showing that they don't always agree or they don't always have a see eye to eye. And, there was a question when Moiraine said, hey, like I don't remember the exact wording, but I remember really liking the wording of, do you regret being my servant, being my warden? And he's like, no, blah, blah, blah. I liked it, but he didn't do much. But at least he didn't info dump. And it's not even I keep calling it info dumping, but it's just telling. And it's telling of some of the cool stuff. I wanted to see Moiraine react to a chained Aes Sedai, or colored Aes Sedai. I wanted to see her, what she would think of that. It's very interesting to me, and it just didn't happen. And I wanted to see her take them on. I want to see cool shit from everyone, every character, do cool shit, even the non-magical ones, but especially the magical ones. Like, she did amazing things in the first book. That's kind of what made her work. Even though she was just kind of like a tool for dumping information. She, that's the thing. In the first book, she was an info dump queen. In the second book, she's a plot dump queen. She dumps the plot, what happened that we didn't see, and that's her role, and that's the only thing she does. And I just really didn't like that. Show me Moiraine rescuing women. Or killing them, honestly. Just something. Let's move on. Thom. I said Thom. It's Tom. But it just has an H in it. Whatever. Yeah, he had a very short part here. I'm so glad he's alive. I felt it in my bones that he's alive. I'm really glad. It was kind of glossed over that he's alive, to be fair. But, whatever. I liked him being alive. It was really heartbreaking to see Denna. It was heartbreaking to see Denna die. What that meant to him, but he did have a really cool action sequence, I guess. But we didn't see anything after that, so I hope to see him in the next one and to see how he dealt with, was it the king? I believe it was either the king or the second guy, adversary to the king in that game. But that was kind of, I guess that gave the entire game kind of more meaning, or gave it more importance. But yeah, that was cool. I liked him there. I like that he wanted his things back. It was really cool. I have Geofram. I forget who that is. Oh, leader of the Children of the Light. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't need any of the children. That's the parts where I was like, okay, I didn't need any of this. They just showed up and they died. And one of them, I guess, escaped. And my friend told me that's the one that doesn't like Perrin, because they're the ones that captured Perrin. But I was like, and I remember there's the old guy, which is Geofram. Geofram? I don't know. But it's this guy. And I guess he died here. And then the other one ran away to tell his son, how he died, but also I think he said that he wouldn't be able to tell him. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but it was strange. Um, they just kind of spouted out names at me that I wasn't prepared for when listening, and it just didn't make sense for me to me. And not that it didn't make sense. It just okay. These are random characters that I don't care about at this point, or at all, and I didn't need to care about them because they showed up and they died, and it didn't even die on screen. There was like some intrigue about why they were being used by someone else. Like I think was the Watchers. Was it? I don't know, but like some other group where they were giving orders from them, and they didn't like that. I don't know. And also the guy that lived. That's the guy that doesn't like Perrin, but in my mind, he died in the first book. Someone killed him in the first book. Lan killed him in the first book, I think, but also I guess not. I guess it was maybe he didn't kill him, or maybe this is someone else. I don't remember their names. I don't remember anything about them. It was just parts of the book, and again, it wasn't many parts, but it was chapters that could have been cut. I think they had like 2.5 chapters, but we didn't need them. That we could have had. Okay, the Children of the Light are coming. Some other character could almost killed you. Some other character could have noticed the Children of the Light were coming to the Shan-Chan like base or whatever. It wasn't the base; it was a town, but it doesn't matter. And yeah, we could have just eliminated all of that and then had time for a proper end and for a more clear ending. Whatever. Yeah, and also in their fight, I didn't understand that they all died, or I understood they all died, but I didn't understand that Shan-Chen were also driven out. I understood that I forget their names, but like the ghosts that came from the horn. That's also very Lord of the Rings. Like the undead armies helping out. And I like the undead armies. I like them. I think they had character, even though there are only 2 characters talked out of all of them. But yeah, I didn't get I didn't get that they killed all the Shan-Chan, or even that they were fighting them. I was like, okay, they're fighting all of them. But I guess that wasn't the case. It was, like I said, it was not clear to me. But yeah, they were at least cool. The children were not. The children were. I was like, okay, they're coming in, they're killing them, they're doing the thing, but then they just lost. It makes sense that they lost, but also don't they fight Aes Sedai or like hunt Aes Sedai? Shouldn't they be able to deal with the Damani? Because they're literally Aes Sedai. They're the same thing. I don't know. But yeah, I could have used without them. They could have just shown up, and that'd be it. What next? Liandrin, the Red Aja. So they're the Slytherins of this world. It'd be kind of cool to see a Red Aja that wasn't horrible. That might be cool. But yeah, she betrayed them. It was kind of obvious. I was wondering, so when she showed up, I was wondering, okay, is she betraying them, or are we getting an inversion of like, oh, I'm a good Red Aja? It was gonna be one or the other. She either knows that the Red Aja are planning something, is about to reveal it and whatever, or she's on the wrong side, and she was on the wrong side. She did her thing. She betrayed them, and she didn't show up for the rest. I'm hoping to see a showdown between her and honestly either Egwene or Nynaeve. But anyone, Elaine even. I would like to if Elaine gets more powerful, for him to see that. Not Min, obviously, but yeah, that's all the characters I have written down. I probably missed some, but I'm sure this is long enough. Overall, as you can probably tell, I really liked almost every part except the ending. The ending was really, really confusing to me. It was really just kind of happened. The most standout parts of the ending, and when I say standout, I mean in a bad way, like very confusing, were like when the girls got separated, and then they just, instead of running towards each other, or not maybe towards each other, but in the same direction, they kind of scattered. But then they kind of found each other off screen while Min was cuddling Rand. And I was like, well, why did you separate at all in the first place? I understood there was the fireball thing that kind of separated them, but it's not like the fireball was, you know, huge, or like that they were inside and they were like blocked off because like some rocks fell or something. No, they were like just in different alleys at that point. I don't know, man. It did not make sense to me. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe I just was tired or eager to finish the book. Because I do feel like I listened to it less often, but I listened to it more. I feel like I was faster in listening to this book, but I just took bigger gaps between like chapters than I did or like listening sessions than the first one. So I don't know, maybe that had to do with it. I was like, okay, let's finish it, and I just kind of blasted through the ending. But I don't think so. Like where is Fane? And why didn't he show up? And why didn't he do some other thing? And did the Shanshan leave? I mean, I read, because in preparing for this video, I read that they actually were driven out by the ghost armies, but also I guess by Moraine, because she talks about fighting them. Just like she talks about everything, but she doesn't do anything in this book. It's so stupid. Yeah. I don't know. I wish it was longer, which is funny to say about a Wheel of Time book because these books are long, but I wish we had 2 or 3 more chapters. And if Rand needs to be asleep for those chapters, that's fine. He could be deathly injured, but, have Min and Egwene, carry him and them fighting, and then Moraine shows up and saves them, and Lan shows up and just kills the beast with his sword. Something. I needed something more. And it's so strange because I expect a lot of things from Wheel of Time. I don't expect like quickness, I guess. I don't expect it to just, happen. And maybe he was just like, I'm tired of writing this book. The third one is going to be much better. Let's just finish it. And he was like, okay, Moraine, tell them what happened. He's just going to fall asleep from a fire in his thing. But I guess they do say that it can't be healed because of something. But yeah, it's just strange. I am, overall happy with the book. I just really don't like the ending. I think, there's that philosophy of the ending needs to be really good, because if the ending is really powerful, then people kind of forgive the rest of the story for being mediocre or even bad. And I feel like this is the inverse. I feel like the book was really good, and the ending was just left me confused and wanting, And so I feel like I might be more harsh on the book than it deserves to be, because there's a lot of good here. But I'm definitely continuing. I will definitely do the third book. I believe this is long enough. I will be starting the third book. I don't know if I should wait for Rosamund Pike's third book, or if I should just get the original audiobook. I'll see. I know they're good. I've been told that they're good at reading, recording, and they're acting out all the characters. But I'm just used to Rosamund Pike. But I think she's coming out in like 4 months or 5 months, and it's just a long time to wait for the next book. But I do have a lot of other books that I want to read and listen to. So we'll see when the video for the third book happens. With this said, if you've made it this far, thank you. Leave a comment about what you thought about the book, what you thought about my thoughts of the book. Did you find the ending confusing? Or was it perfect and clear and you were really happy with it and it's your favorite part, you know, that's possible. I'm not, you know, saying that my thoughts are fact, but you know, it's just how I understood it. And yeah, what do you think of the you know, should I start the third book now? Should I wait a little bit for the Rosamund Pike one? And also, which book is your favorite? If you know, if you've listened or read all of them, which one is your favorite? Currently, for me, it's the first one still. Even though the second one has so much. Oh God! If you took the second book, and took out the ending, and just plastered on the ending of the first book, oh God, that would be amazing. It wouldn't make sense at all. But I'm just saying, quality-wise, oh, that would be amazing. But I guess the final fight is cooler, like between Rand and Balsamond. I also didn't talk about any of Rand's fights. I just realized they were cool, but you know, they were kind of quick. They did feel grand when he was fighting the Blade Master and Balsamond, but it didn't feel. It feels like kind of Rand keeps losing, and then he just stabs them once and wins. You know, it's not the best fights in the world, I would say, but they weren't bad. They just, you know, they didn't give me what I needed to reconcile the rest of the ending not being so, well, existent in the book, where it's just being told to me. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you like it. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you want to listen to my review of the third book, which will come out at some point. And until that, I will be making just random videos about storytelling, mostly books, but maybe even video games or movies and stuff. I have a bunch of videos filmed, but I'm not sure if I'm going to release them or if I just want to go with something else. And yeah, but I do plan on releasing videos more frequently. So yeah, I hope you like this video and I'll see you in the next one.